Hi, welcome to Food Quest Scratch Saturday edition. Scratch Saturday, where we make things from scratch on Saturday. Today we're going to make garlic butter T-bone steak. Your first step is going to be to lay out your ingredients as always. Get your steak, lemon, salt, pepper, garlic, oil, onion powder, chili powder, and butter. I hear that fancy restaurants like to buy good ingredients and really let those ingredients shine through, but I prefer to buy really good steak and then make my own marinade so I can force all the flavors I want into the steak. This marinade's really easy. You just put your oil in a jar followed by your 1 lemon, and you really got to squeeze all the juice out of that lemon, and then you add the onion powder and chili powder, some water, add some pepper. It doesn't really matter how much you add, just put whatever you want in there. Salt as well. And then you have to get the garlic out. And the garlic sucks because it's in these little pockets of, protective layering. And so you have to get that out and then zoom in on it for the camera. So that garlic I just put right into the marinade because I'm going to blend it up. But then this garlic I chopped nice and fine to put in at the end. So it just is chunks of garlic in the marinade. So then you want to take your immersion blender and blend that all up in the mason jar. And add a bit of honey, because sweetness is nice. Next thing you're going to do is put your steak into a bag along with the marinade. Seal that bag up with some air in it, and then shake your steak around so that way it gets all in the cracks and crevices. Next you're going to fill up a cooler with hot water. The key is to get it the right temperature. Mine comes out of the tap at about 150 degrees, so I turned it down and got to about 148 degrees. That's perfect. That's the temperature you want. Then you can just put that bag into the cooler and seal the top, and it will sous vide in there for probably 6 hours. Some people say it's a little long, but I don't care. One thing that really sucks about garlic, like I said, is you got to get that shell off of there. It's tedious and time consuming, but it is probably worth it in the end. Makes all those cool little flakes that your wife can vacuum up after you when you're not looking. Then you need to crush up and then cut up your garlic. So you chop it all nice and fine after it's all crushed and put it into a nice chafing dish, again, for the video. But I actually do this even when there's no video rolling because, little ramekins are super fun. The next thing we need to do is make the garlic butter. So you just melt 4 tablespoons of butter into a pan and then pour your little ramekin into the pan with the butter and let it sit for a little while. Keep it stirring, get it nice and cooked. Once that's done cooking, you could pour that into a different sized ramekin. It's important to have, 4 different sizes of ramekins, just because you might as well. Cool that down and then get it ready for when you put it on the steak. I cut mine perfectly in half because I have 2 steaks. When you cook with sous vide, you have to sear your steak in the end, and it's best to do this outside because it really smokes up your house. So I started my Coleman stove and put the cast iron on full temp. Then it's time to check on your steak. You gotta make sure it's the right internal temperature. I got this one to about 132 degrees, so it's just under medium rare. And there it is. One thing that's cool about sous vide is that when you take it out of the bag, the meat looks appetizing. Yeah, that's the word we're gonna go with. That brown, gross, slobby meat. So we're gonna fix that by searing it. Like I said, this makes a lot of smoke, so if you can do it outside, it's not a bad idea. But yeah, put it in a blazing hot skillet and let it sit for, let mine sit for 2 minutes. And then flip it over. This is where that garlic butter comes in. Once you flip over your steaks, you can add your butter and just kind of press it down on top of the steak. Yeah, just like that. I got impatient, so I covered mine, but I bet you could just leave it there for a minute. Once the steaks are cooked, you gotta take them off and put them on a wood cutting board. You gotta let them rest on the wood cutting board so that way the wood soaks up all the juices. Just kidding. The wood does nothing, but it's good to let them rest so that way they don't just leak juices everywhere when you cut them. Once your steaks have rested, you can cut them open to see how you did. Looks like we did pretty well. I got this one just right around medium rare. And that's the benefit of cooking with sous vide. Once you're done with that, you can eat them.